First of all, Bernie, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you, Tom.
Thank you. I had a great time last Saturday at the town hall meeting in Montpelier, Vermont. My old, I can't call it hometown. I wasn't born there, but feels like it. I lived there for a decade and loved the city.
Well, you did a great job, and I was delighted to see we had over 500 Vermonters and some people from out of state coming to the meeting to talk about the Citizens United decision. And I think what you saw at that meeting was people outraged at the Supreme Court decision, which will allow billionaires and corporations to spend as much money as they want in the political process without any disclosure whatsoever. And we are going to be working on a constitutional amendment on that issue. But I thought it was a great meeting. You were great, and we had a number of other panelists who were also very good. So thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. By the way, Bernie, I wrote what I think is the only book in print right now on the history of this decision. It's called Unequal Protection: How Corporations Became People, and which I was quoting from in my rant there. And truthout.org is going to serialize the entire book online. We're putting the entire book, even though it's a best-selling book right now. I don't think this has ever been done before. Even though it's doing really well, we're going to put the entire book online, one chapter each week, and then it'll stay there forever for free and over truthout.org, so people can get the real story of what happened behind Citizens United, how it got there.
Well, that's great. And again, this is an issue we have got to stay focused on. It's too stupid to even talk about at great length, trying to defend a corporation being a person.
Yeah.
It is an absurd ruling brought by a 5-4 Supreme Court Republican majority, which will have a profound impact on making our previously totally inadequate campaign finance system much worse. And what it will mean is that some of the wealthiest people in this country can sit in a room and basically decide where they're going to be putting their money, having huge impacts on elections, and do it without any disclosure whatsoever, all in the name of freedom of speech, and that's just totally absurd. In any case, thanks for being there. Let me just touch on what I think is, in the midst of a world in which so many things are happening, to my mind, what I've been focused on is the budget situation in Washington. And let me be very clear. The Republicans in the House have brought forth a budget which, in terms of the needs of working families and lower-income people in this country, is, I suspect, the most devastating in the modern history of this country. And this is just the beginning. Well, I know this all gets very complicated, and it's inside the Beltway chatter here. What we're talking about now is a continuing resolution, i.e. how you continue to fund the government through fiscal year 2011. And then we go to 2012, which is a whole other budget. Mm-hmm. But just for the fiscal year 2011 continuing resolution for the remainder of this fiscal year.
That's up until September, right? Up to the end of September.
September 30th. I want people to hear what the Republicans are talking about and why it is absolutely imperative that we mobilize and say no, that you cannot balance the budget on the backs of the sick, the old, the children, the poor, the middle class, but there must be shared sacrifice, that it is basically immoral and bad economic policies to say we're going to devastate program after program that impacts millions of working families, but at the same time, not only are we going to not ask the wealthy to pay any more in taxes, we're going to continue the process to give them tax breaks. So what you have is a severe attack on working families, and the rich get off scot-free at a time when the wealthiest people in this country are doing phenomenally well, never done better, at a time when the effective, real tax rate for the richest people in this country is lower than it has been in recorded history, is lower than what a fireman or a cop or a nurse is paying in terms of effective tax rates at a time when these guys have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks already. So the unfairness of sticking it to working families who are hurting already in a recession. Poverty is increasing. What they're doing is cutting programs for the poor. The rich are getting richer. They're giving tax breaks to billionaires. That is just, to me, totally obscene. Let me just kick off. I want people to hear this and hear it well, because it's going to impact millions and millions of Americans. 50 million people today have no health insurance. Many people can't find a doctor. We have worked hard to expand community health centers so that millions more people can walk into a doctor's office regardless of income and get health care, dental care, low-cost prescription drugs. Republicans want to cut $1.3 billion in funding for community health centers, denying primary health care to about 11 million patients. Everybody knows, every working family knows how hard it is to find good quality, affordable child care. Head Start has done an excellent job in providing an opportunity for working families to have their kids in good quality early childhood education, so when they get to the first grade, they're on par with the other kids. The Republican proposal would cut Head Start by 20%, eliminating the program for 218,000 lower-income kids. Got that? Over 200,000 children would be thrown off of the Head Start program.
At the same time, billionaires are getting tax cuts.
You got it. You got it. Everybody knows how expensive college is. Many middle-class families today can't afford to send their kids to college. In recent years, we've made an effort, not enough, to expand the Pell Grant program, the major source of grants from the federal government to low and moderate income families. The Republicans want to slash the Pell Grant program by $5.7 billion, reducing or eliminating Pell Grants for 9.4 million low-income college students. Got that? So everybody talks about how we have to be competitive in the global economy, how we need the best educated workforce in the world, and now we are going to slash Pell Grants for over 9 million low-income college students, making college less and less affordable and probably resulting in many of these young people not being able to go to college. I can tell you in my office, my caseworkers get calls every week from elderly people, people with disabilities, who are upset about how long it takes for the Social Security Administration to process the claims that people are eligible for their benefits. What Republicans want to do is cut $1.7 billion from the Social Security Administration, meaning significant delays for seniors and disabled Americans awaiting the benefits to which they are.
Wait a minute. The Republicans want to lay off the bureaucrats. I mean, is a good word, not a bad word. The right. people who write the checks and process the claims. They want to lay them off?
Yeah. That's right. $1.7 billion cut from the Social Security Administration. And then they will tell you, you see, Social Security really doesn't work. You put in your claim, you can't get it processed.
Right.
We have a situation now where poverty is increasing in America. Community action programs all over this country, they are the places of last resort for poor people. Republicans want to cut them by $405 million. On and on and on. This is just a small part of the list.
That's amazing. It's amazing.